hired a full-time driver. Although this is not the most conventional position to have inside of a painting business, after a quick analysis, it was really obvious why this was going to be a good move for me to grow my business. So this is not the most conventional position to hire, like I was saying, but on average, it saves me about 5 hours a day, which is about 25 hours a week. I set 30 minutes appointments to do painting estimates, and then I allow for 30 minutes in between every appointment. And I do about 10 appointments a day. So this saves me a lot of time. There's some pros and cons about having a driver, but starting a new business and really trying to refine some of the systems, I felt like this was going to be a better jumping off point than hiring a project manager or a salesperson. It was really going to allow me to refine some processes, which I'm going to break down for you in a minute. So hypothetically, let's take someone, let's call him John. He makes $150,000 a year, which is about $72 an hour if he works a 40-hour work week. If he hires a driver at $40,000 a year, that's gonna save John 25 hours a week. Let's be generous and say John takes off 6 weeks a year. That means that the driver is saving John 1,150 hours a year, which is worth about $82,000 a year. As long as John continues to maintain his same income, it turns out to be a profit to have a driver. I'm not trying to say that everyone should have a driver. The main thing is learning how to leverage your time so that you can do more productive things that will create more value and more income. For me, it made more sense because I was trying to refine my systems, and I estimated that if I was more involved in the process, I would be able to speed up the feedback loop and be able to make my systems and my product better quicker. And that's why I hired a driver. And it's worked out well for me. Anytime you can delegate an activity, you should. But before you delegate it, you should refine it and make sure there's a good system in place. You can't depend on other people, especially lower level employees, to be responsible for building a system for your company. So it's important that you delegate, but before you delegate, you need to understand what the finished product should look like and the most efficient way to build that system so that you can get the desired outcome. Because sometimes what'll happen is you'll have 3 people doing the task that one person can do. Even after you delegate that process off to someone else, you need to have a system in place so you can check in and make sure that it's still being refined every week, every quarter, so that it's doing the most it can within the organization. At the end of the day, the decision to hire a driver was a financial decision. I looked at the facts, I looked at the money, I looked at the time, and made a determination if it was going to be profitable or if it was going to help me in the long term accomplish my goals. Although hiring a driver is not the most common thing in the construction industry, that's one of the benefits of dyslexia, is it helps you think outside the box and be more creative. And so don't be afraid to be creative in your solutions. Just because other people don't see the opportunity doesn't mean it does not exist.